continuity is just not going to work. This is supposed to be rain. We'll get this right. Let's do it. I successfully bought a newspaper at the local supermarket. I just wanted to record this voiceover because I was making funny noises when I came into the studio. I wanted to get rid of that so it would just be a nice, easy transition to when I sat down and I said this. Welcome back. Thanks for coming. It is the Hotline Show, the 65th one. Today is June 8th, 2025. Now, before we get into it, I was just at the store and I picked up a copy of the New York Times. When was the last time you did that? You got the paper edition. And I thought, we've got a whole big show today, but we really need to know what's going on in the world. So I think what we're going to do to kick the show off is read the entire newspaper, cover to cover, every section. This is a good one because, you got the normal news and then you got the arts section, which everyone loves. We've got the business section, and then we've got Thursday Styles. And I mean, we always look at Thursday Styles to find out what we're going to wear. So let's get into it. Page 1, regular newspaper. And let's go. GOP bill would swell U.S. debt by $2.4 trillion. Republicans work to discredit experts. I can't believe you read the entire newspaper. This is insane, man. I'm looking at 6 hours of footage right now. All right, business. Let's get down to business. All right. I think I have to cut all of this out. I don't think anyone's going to watch this. How's this happening? Yeah, okay, I'm cutting this out. It's ridiculous. Own pressing need to increase its fleet of small drones. I'm done. Do you guys know what's happening out there? Is anyone paying attention? Just get on with the show already. Jesus. Shit. That took me hours. All right, well, let me clean this up. We'll sit back down and we'll get on with the Hotline Show. Give me 1 second. What are you supposed to do with this stuff? This is fire kindling. All right, well, welcome back. Thanks for coming. Incredible week, so much going on. I missed last week, I'm sorry. So there's like tons of stuff that I could have gone over, but I didn't and I won't, and maybe I will one other time, but not today because we've got a lot of shit to cover. First things first, if you don't know how it works, it's the Hotline Show. People call the number, it's in the description below. You call, you leave a message, you ask a question. Usually it's about photography, but it can be about anything. Like how many newspapers you subscribe to. If you don't know, this show does now have a Patreon where mostly, entirely, fan supported. That means I don't have to sell out. I don't have to pretend to like some bullshit product and then sell it to you. And then you'd be like, why is he doing that? Does he really need sponges? Let's keep it independent. So hit that Patreon, patreon.com/the Hotline Show. Last week, I put up a video where I went through the David Lynch collection estate sale. It's really great. It's really fun. It's a half-hour video. And we found some great stuff, and I talk about it. Here's a little clip. You know what I might want? Because it really feels like it's David Lynch art, is that old stand. I think this is the sleeper. I think this is the thing that is worth more. It's like the Holy Grail.
This here is an old stand, and it's so beautiful. The aging on it, I'm starting to varnish it to bring it back. And that's another thing I'm working on today. Have a great day. Let me know what you're working on.
I mean, come on, the old stand. Maybe we should all get together and collectively bid on the old stand together. I think that's really, I don't know if he built it. He might have just cleaned it up, varnished it, but that's enough. It's a hat stand. Coat, you could put a coat on it or just put a hat on top. We're going to get into it. Only 2 calls today. We're going to keep it light. Just getting back on our feet. Let's go. First caller.
Hey there. You can call me Werner Herzlich. I'm another German. Not in Germany currently, but residing on the East Coast of the United States of America. I have a question for you. Why do you think there's such a need in us humans to create? Why is that drive there, right? You as a real artist, I think, have a drive to create something beautiful. Us average or wannabe artists create something maybe mediocre or just good enough. But all of us have that urge to create. What do you think? Where does that come from? Have an awesome day, and I'm glad I stumbled upon your show. I had no clue. Just 10 minutes ago, I didn't even know you existed. Thank you. See ya. Bye.
Very cool. Werner from Germany, but living in the East Coast of the United States of America. Great to hear from you. Welcome to the show. Always glad to hear from new callers, new watchers. I love German accent. To me, it sounds like a little scary. I know it's good. It's a good accent. But there's always some drama with it. Like, what's going to happen? We okay? Now, the drive to create. And you call me a real artist. Thank you. But like, anyone can be a real artist or an artist. Am I real? I don't know. I mean, I try. I mean, professionally, I guess you could say I'm a professional artist. I think anyone and everyone is creative. And it's just that they don't think that they are, but they're not trying hard enough. Or they've been told their whole life that it's sort of meaningless to dabble in the arts because it doesn't make money or something. But what is that urge, that drive to create? And I think, a lot of people, they're not artists or they don't even try. They have kids. Why are they having kids? Creating something. I think a lot of the times I see people who have kids as like they're doing it because their life doesn't really have much meaning, and they put their life meaning into the production of a child. So I think there's that, and that's their project. And, okay, good, cool. I mean, if that's what you think it's all about, that's it. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, we all must realize that this is all pointless and this is all an accident. And like, how do we get through the day knowing that in the end, nothing really matters except for what we decide to spend our time with? And I think it's important, or at least satisfying, or at least special in a way. I mean, it's ego driven to leave our mark somewhere, to make something that didn't exist before, something, make something out of nothing, and then just leave it behind, where someone might come across and see that and think about it and who might have made that. To the person who was making it, I think it feels like there's meaning to it, at least temporarily. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's important to try to create. I mean, often I think, just going outside and looking at a tree and trimming it, or a bush, like making a shape out of it. I think that's artistic. It's artful. There's art in everything. A lot of people don't consider themselves artists, but they really are. And it's really about creativity and just thinking about something and solving problems slightly different than someone else might do it. And I think that fundamentally that's what it's all about. We're all artists. I think just more often than not, we're just told that it's not a viable life or career. And you struggle. That's true. Sometimes, not always. It's fine. Whatever. Werner, thank you so much for that call. Great to hear from you. Welcome to the show. Next caller, Will.
Hey, Noah, it's Will. I'm editing a video right now that requires heavy digging into my archives. I'm having to just go deep and find stuff, which is kind of a nightmare when you have a lot of stuff in there. And maybe it's not really a question, but I wanted to pose this topic that maybe you could speak on a little bit. But command of one's archive, I think, is a skill or a just something that I feel like artists should have that no one really talks about. Having good organizational skills of your archive so that at a moment's notice you can pull something interesting out of it to add to maybe a future work or whatever. I find that you obviously do this a lot with your Hotline show, which is why I find your work so fascinating, is that your archive is an essential part of your work. And you mentioned this AI thing you've used to crawl your NAS, I guess, in order to make it indexed so it's more easily searchable. And that's something that I think I heavily need right now. But that's a fascinating use of AI, and I think maybe the most important use of AI is just finding stuff. And I find that show on HBO, The How-To with John Wilson, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's kind of a masterwork in just gathering and collecting and then digging through it to refer to archived footage very quickly and cleverly. And I find that fascinating. And I think the artists I'm most interested in have this skill, this command of their vast archive, this ability to just reach in and grab something out very quickly. And it's a skill I'm trying to develop more and more. But yeah, it's not talked about. So I guess what I'm asking is for you to talk about it. Well, I don't have as much of a question. Maybe you don't have anything to say about it, but I find it interesting. You seem interested in that aspect of art making, so I wanted to throw it out there. Thanks again. Keep it up.
Will, amazing. I have so much to say about this. Are you kidding? This is like my entire life at this point spent looking through my archive. Now, where do we even begin? There's so much here. Organizing. I mean, we're collecting things, right? I mean, I've been taking photos over 25 years, and mostly digital, although I guess that early, 1998 to about 2003, I still shot film more than digital. And then I fully embraced it and almost exclusively shot digital after that. So you're left with a lot of files. And I think, as many people know, I take a photo of myself every day. So that's at this point something close to 9,000 days and photos and pictures and files that I have backed up on my computer. Now, I think it was like 2 or 3 years into the project, maybe 3 years, I had a hard drive crash. And I lost a couple weeks of that project. And I had to go on to Craigslist, and I found some guy, and he helped me sort of recover half of what I lost, but I didn't get everything back. Just some random dude I met on Craigslist. But from that encounter and that meeting, he sort of liked what I did, and he was into photography. And he's been like my computer guy ever since, like over 20 years now. So when I have like a computer issue, like a real big one, I know most shit, but I'll consult with him. And he, after, recovering my hard drive, he was like, you got to do a RAID, a NAS. Okay. A NAS is network attached storage. RAID is just the way in which like hard drives are set up to like back up. So like there's different kinds of RAIDs. Can get really technical, and I don't want this to be technical, but it's basically like you have multiple drives. And here's one of my very first NAS units. I couldn't find the original one that I had. It was small. It was really bothering me that I couldn't find my original NAS because I don't lose things. So I was looking everywhere, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's here. So check this out. It's in this dusty old box. Let me just get it out. Here it is. Netgear Ready NAS NV Plus. Probably from 2005. Drives. 4-bay. By the way, I can't open this. All right, let me do it. Pop one drive out. Let's see the size of this thing. 1 terabyte. So this unit was a 4 terabyte drive. Probably cost me just as much as what I might pay for 60 terabytes now. I don't need this, but I'll never throw it away. It's going to be someone else's problem someday. Inside of this, and this is old. This is like, I don't know. Hard to know when I got this. Maybe like 2007 or something is when I got this one. But inside there's all these 6 drives. And I always set up my RAIDs where you can have 1 drive fail. I know other people do more than 1 drive. So if one of these fails, I just want to say this here because I forgot to. Ever since I set up a RAID on a NAS, I haven't had one single hard drive crash. Now, knock on wood, but it was literally that one time over 20 years ago that I had a hard drive crash. I've been using RAIDs set up on a NAS ever since, and I've never had anything fail. Huge. It's like a giant hard drive. I think it's RAID 1. I don't know, RAID 5. But inside, let me see if I can. I think it needs a pin to open this. Well, anyway, just a bunch of normal spinny hard drives in here. Not really normal. They're made specifically for the NAS, but it doesn't matter. This is too technical. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Actually, up on top, just so I know what's in here, I printed out what is stored on here, and it's funny because, I mean, maybe this box is like 8 terabytes, which I eventually outgrew. Okay, current NAS is down here. This is what it looks like. It's all under my desk, and that actually, as of right now, it's 61 terabytes. And it's like literally everything I've shot since like 2003 or something. And it's only because the stuff before that, I never had it digital, which maybe is a project that I do one day as I go through the box of stuff. I'm never going to do that. There's nothing really good or worth it to do that for. But yeah, so at any moment I can find anything in my archive. And there's a few ways to search this because it's a lot of stuff. It's like, how do you even know where to begin? Well, I do like and I'll put it up here, but it's like basically my organizational structure is like year, then and then I break the years into quarters. So it's like, let's say it's 2025, right? So 2025 A, and then it's everything I shot January to April A, then I go to B, and then it's that. Only reason I do that is because I shoot so much within each quarter. If it was just all in one year, it would just be a huge string. So I'd need to break them up. And then within that, every folder is year, month, date. So 2025, 0606. That's today. Super easy. So if there's a date, I can go back, find it in a second. Meanwhile, I have things automatically upload. Like if I shoot on my phone, it's obviously automatically uploading to iCloud. But I also have it uploading to Google Photos.
So every phone picture that I take is automatically in Google Photos. Google Photos is actually my favorite next to Xira Photo, which you mentioned, and I'll put a link below. And I think people should check it out if you have a big archive. A good way to just scan your entire archive and then have it sort of tag what it is. It like can recognize what's in the photos. So and Google Photos does this too, which is, let's say, you know, you want like a dahlia flower. You just type that in and it'll pick out every photo of that particular flower that you have, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of old tech at this point where like it can knows what the photo is just by looking at it. This is actually why, like on Instagram or whatever, you don't need to tag your photos. It knows exactly what anything you shoot, it can recognize it just by looking at the photo, the machine, the big cloud, the mind. Just the other day, and this is funny, I was shooting something. It was actually like a house, and they had string lights, you know, like you hang them like in a string of lights. And a lot of people, it's common to see this. It's a good way to light up your backyard or whatever. And I remember shooting something years ago and showing a friend. It was a cabin. It was cabin porn related. Showed my friend, and he was like, "I hate string lights. It looks so corny and cheesy." And I was like, "Huh? I never really thought of it." He's like, "It's cheap. It just looks cheap," and that always just stuck with me. It like imprinted in my mind that like string lights were cheesy, and I never really thought one way or another. It was just like a thing that existed. But after he said it, I couldn't stop thinking about it forever. So now whenever I see it, I am like not sure what to think. Like, is it good or bad? I don't know. I've even asked some friends, architectural photographer friends, and I was like, "What do you think of string lights?" And they're like, "Whatever. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. It's just kind of a thing that exists. Like, we have to live with it." I'm like, it's true. And I've just been thinking about it a lot. And the point I'm making here is I wanted to go through my archive and find string lights. Like all the times that I've seen those, you know, so I go into Xira Photo and I type in string lights and it just pulls up anything. You know, Xira is weird just because it's not super accurate, but it's accurate enough. Like if it's something pretty obvious, like a flower, you know, a daisy, it knows the daisies and those are the top results. And then it's just other flowers. But sometimes when it's something a little more abstract, like a string light, I don't know if it necessarily understands what that is. Like, so it'll just show me lots of lights. And what I find so interesting and fascinating about doing this, when I get something in my mind, is I pull up the archive, and it's my archive. I think it's 1.5 million photos. Now, there's definitely tons of duplicates because I make smaller versions of the photos and I have multiple galleries and I back things up so many times that there's definitely overlap. So I will see multiple duplicates. But let's just say there's 1 million pictures in my archive. It's a lot of pictures. A lot of these, it's like sometimes, you know, I'm seeing stuff that I haven't seen in over a decade or two. And I'm just like taken back by what I'm looking at. And then I start seeing connections and like how things relate to each other. And when I was looking at string lights, I found pictures of, you know, the original cabin that brought this to my mind. But then, you know, then I found other houses or architecture that I shot that had string lights on it just over the years. This one's actually kind of weird. You know, there's something, LED is a whole different thing. Lights is a whole thing in and of itself. So we're not going to go too far into that. While I'm searching through it, and then I start seeing like people's faces lit up by light. And I just start seeing a pattern of that. It's like, here's my brother lighting up his face with his phone. This is 15 years ago. And then just other people holding lights and having it on their face. Look at this totally unhinged photo of these two models in the back of a car that has string lights around the trunk, but then there's like a bonfire behind them. This is so weird. And it was like, oh yeah, I remember this shoot. I remember that. Just finding these faces, these people and models and actors and that I used to make work with starts bringing me down this like rabbit hole of emotion and thoughts of what my life was and who I was and what I did and what I could have done better. I get actually pretty depressed sometimes when I look deep into my archive. Like I see myself going in places and doing really interesting things sometimes, and then it just like not working out. There's a lot about the archive. It's a lot of things that just like didn't work out.
Don't you ever fear I'm always near. I know that you'll need a friend. Ooh, your tongue is twisted, your eyes are lit, and you need a guardian. Ooh, and I know I'm yours. Ooh, ooh, and you know you're mine. Ooh, ooh, that's for all of time.
You brought up John Wilson. Yeah, there's a really great MoMA produced sort of short documentary about John Wilson. He talks about waking up in the morning and making coffee, and then he goes out and gets another coffee.
In the morning, I usually get up, I make coffee, and then I go to the store and I get another coffee. Then I will go out and film.
I do that same exact thing. I think it's so funny. Okay. But yeah. I went on for another 20 minutes and then I wrapped the show up and I went and pressed stop on my camera, but realized it was already stopped because the camera only records for 30 minutes at a time. And I forgot about that. So it doesn't matter. I think I said enough. So, Will, thank you so much for that call. There's so much there. There's so much to think about. I know I said nothing useful, but I'm going to get back into it eventually because there's footage and pictures and stories that we will get into. If you're still here, do the stuff, like, subscribe, call the hotline, join the Patreon. Have a great week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I'll see you next week. Maybe.